because
so now that we've gotten through the different tone stuff, let's go with 3 different things. We'll do it in this order. We'll do it with tone.
Yep.
In the room, you may have a totally different opinion of that, of what it sounds like recorded, so let us know. So tone, feel, and then we'll finish on just the superficial look category.
Yes.
Which
is important when you're in a threesome.
Hey, that you want to end. The last thing you remember, you may not remember how much fun the threesome was, but you probably will get asked a lot what they look like. I'm just saying. Anyway, we'll get back to this. See, it's still family friendly. We're talking about guitars. That's all.
Exactly. Get your mind out of the guitar.
Yeah, exactly. You're the filthy one, not us. So so from a tone perspective, I'll let you go first.
I guess it depends what you're looking for.
Yep, but for you,
for me, I would almost rate them the same as clean.
Mm-hmm.
I just think this is the smoothest. Actually, these two are.
These two. This is the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that one just has more of a cheaper pickup feel to me, but it does cut. It's if you're playing more modern high gain music.
I would say if you're gonna go more like your hard rock, your driven stuff, your more modern metal-y kind of thing, and you want a pickup that has that bite. And
you want to shoot a laser beam like through a wall of other instruments. That thing's going to do it.
Yep.
Again, you can always upgrade pickups as we said.
And the thing to remember too is, so this guy is $265-ish to your door, which is about the same as the Benton, but this is good to your door from China directly, and they have this in a ton of different finishes. Mm-hmm. So I think from a tone perspective, this is probably the moderate stream. Like, you can get something that looks your color. You want it in purple, you want it in bright red, you want it in vintage burst, you want it in that beautiful transparent blue that they do so well. You do that and maybe you bump it up from a tonal perspective. But it's a great spot to start.
Or, this is where you start bleeding into other categories like feel and look. Yep. If you like that.
And that's it. Let's go to feel, right? So I think feel's a good transition for this, because for me, I like this neck the best out of all 3. And the reason is because it's like that 59 shape, where it's still got a little bit of mass up here. It feels nice. It doesn't do that slim taper. The Benton.
There's more to the back of it, like a rounded edge. Yeah. Like you can sort of feel it in your palm.
And really, these are like 3 in progression. So this guy has like that 59-ish neck, which means it's not a baseball bat, but there's something here, especially down in your cowboy cord area, to kind of grip onto. The vintage is slightly less. It tapers a little bit more, but it doesn't taper as much as that, which is your classic 60s slim taper kind of feel to the neck. There's some mass as you come up it, but down towards the end, it thins right out and flattens out.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with how you hold the guitar, the size of your hands, things like that, their comfort, things like that.
Yeah.
But these guitars are all very similar, and one might be better than the other, but it fails in a certain category.
But I think for feel, like, in the 3 of them, this is definitely the lightest.
That was
by like a couple pounds.
It's light.
You grab this guy and go if that's important to you.
Yeah,
that's a good thing. If it's not, if you're like, Les Paul's got to weigh like it weighed in the 70s when I had a Norland thing that had lead in it and weighed 12 pounds. Well, this ain't gonna do it. This will maybe do it. This will definitely do it because it's a 10 or 11 pounder. But this is a relatively light.
Yeah, I like what they did with the cutaway. I like the tuning pegs color, and I like the finish. I'm not throwing it under the bus by
bragged about the cat yet.
Yeah.
The Bad Cat logo, I'll flash up a pic of that, is just awesome. It's in tough company with these 2 other guitars, too.
Yeah,
These are established players, big companies behind them, been around for a while. They're kind of the gold standard from a European, I guess, perspective. No epi in this round. But I think it does its own, and I say this is like the moderate dream. But a good setup. I mean, it feels good. Like Tim said, it might be even a little too low for him. Not like it buzzes, just from a feel, or maybe it's also, this is the 9s on it, the other 2 are 10s. And strings do make a difference.
Yeah, it felt a little slippery. I think it was just because I'm bending a lighter string that I'm used to.
But the inlays are done really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
It's got nice binding.
Nice binding to it. The fit and finish is pretty good. A little bit of the slightest edge stuff where the body meets the binding, but overall, really pleased with this. I've held off modding this to do this video.
It's a great guitar. I just think it's a little bit lacking in the sound
Yep.
which can be fixed.
And Shelby with some Iron Gear Tesla sharks. And a few people are like, when are you going to do it? I'm like, I have to do this video with it unmessed with.
Yeah.
Get a good comparison out of it. And the Tesla sharks will go in either the vintage V100 or this, and maybe the other set of pickups will trickle down to the other one. We'll figure it out.
So those are supposed to be slash
Alnico to that mellow, warm,
that might really
light.
help dress that one up.
So I think they may end up in this one, or they may briefly go to that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it all out.
It's all good.
So I'd say from a feel perspective, I enjoy this one the most. I like that one. It's tough though. I like that one the second most. Part of it is because of the weight. It still is a nice feeling weight.
Vintage is a little bit too heavy.
Yeah.
It's a little
We're
too
wusses.
heavy.
Right now, someone's saying you guys are a couple of pansies, and we are. You know, I have heavy guitars too. Don't get me wrong, but like,
well, it doesn't. I mean, I like something with some substance, but it doesn't have to be. This is actually probably perfect because it sits in the middle.
I'll take demerits off for that because the tuning pegs on the Harley Benton just feel cheap.
Yeah,
like they're hard edged. They don't have any smoothness or lacquery. They just feel like cheap plastic, right? Like they work. We're splitting hairs here.
The backs look good, but the actual pegs themselves
kind of crappy. So anyway, can be replaced once again. Not the biggest deal. We're just pointing out the things. The vintage is a substantial beast. Let's do this without banging him. Not a threesome. That's a weird statement. So anyway, we're you know, for a feel, yeah, she's heavy. I also kind of feel like the vintage has the thickest finish of any of them. Like it does feel a little plasticky, but
again, I like what they did on the back of the guitar. Me and Nick are big on the backs of guitars.
Right.
Because I mean, it's the other 50% of the damn thing. I mean, just because it faces out all the time this way doesn't mean you don't want this side.
You get used to this, but really, it's this that's up against you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's pretty, like it's wood. That's where it gets into kind of like the art of the guitar versus
the conversation piece.
Right. From a feel, I like it. The neck shape on this is nice. It's a little bit more manly than that one's. Being the Harley Benton.
He probably wins on the tuning peg department.
Yeah, I like the tuning peg, although I kind of like the olive military green grade ones on the Bad Cat. But they feel good. It's all Wilkinson parts. Slightly better materials from the wood and stuff that's used. Nice feel to it.
Although if I were playing that with a strap, and I had a little more time with it, the weight might not even be an issue.
It's not huge. It's really only in comparison to the other two. Like when you go from one to the other, a lot of times you just toss around like a little baby.
You just bring stuff up to have something to talk about, to say, okay, well...
It is a difference.
And it's all, you know, to some people it doesn't matter at all. Yep.
But relative to, you know, if you have a 7-pound Les Paul, this will feel like a tank if you're used to that. If you're used to a 10 or 11-pound Les Paul, or 10 or 11, and you go to the Bad Cat, it's going to be light. Now, I will say the Chinese guitars, especially Bad Cat, it's a big variance from one to the next on how heavy it is. You know, I have 2 Gibsons, one of which is 11, almost 12 pounds, and the other of which is like 6.5. And they all have the same material. So, anyway, your mileage may vary.
This one wins on classic Gibson look, I think.
Yeah. So we go to look. So I think feel, this is kind of a tweener on feel, right? This guy's a little plasticky. I like the feel of this. I like the playing feel of this guy the best of the bunch, the Bad Cat, myself.
Yeah.
That's the kind of neck I like, with something just a little bit to it. If we're going for straight up look for what I look for in a guitar, I think the HB 110's done.
Yeah.
I think it's an incredible top. The top looks like some of the best bursts that Gibson did back in the day, and it has a really 3D top. This being a B-stock has a little smudge here, doesn't bother me because it looks really classy.
You kind of got to look for it to find it.
You can always cover it with a Bigsby too. What?
You know that's coming.
This is really nice. It's just a lot of orange. You know, I almost would like a little more natural
too ambery
than this amber. It kind of clouds it just a little bit, but it is still a tremendous top. It's a well-matched seam. Things look really well. And the shape of the cutaway,
it does match the back pretty well.
It matches things well. Everything looks well. I think I prefer the shape of the Bad Cat to these two, with their rounded upper belts and the diagonally backy thing and whatnot. I think, but it's really close.
Yeah.
for the execution for how you did that. I like the Bad Cat headstock 1,000 times better than the Pep Boys crew cut headstocks that these two guys have. It looks like someone just took it and gave it a flat top with a little bit of a right there, Johnny, play me off. You know, like that kind of deal. That's just, I've been staring at him a lot. This is what I think about.
Yeah, you really stared at these. Like, there's no detail gets by his
But
radar.
I like the headstock on this. It's still that classic shape that you expect. It's not a Gibson ripoff shape. It's a nice, it's just a good thing.
If you took each of these and played like a half an hour set with them,
yep,
it would be very telling.
Yeah.
As to the the feel part.
And I think different types of people in different types of music will line. They're close. I guess what we're saying is they're close. I will say, overall, the Wilkinson and the Benton, the vintage and the Benton, have just better guts. Right? Yeah. Whereas this guy is, kind of the upstart.
I do like the rosewood on that because you can see more grain. It's a little lighter, but then that's the overall feel of
well, this is a pretty dark rosewood. They probably treated this one a little bit to get it darker. And that's roasted maple, and you'd be hard-pressed to know unless you really knew. Yeah. You know? So anyway, from a look perspective, I say, even though I like the shape and the headstock better than the Bad Cat, the Harley Benton wins by a nose from a finishy pop, top, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But if you're like a Joe Perry Boneyard guy, this is a fantastic guitar. If you're a Slash guy, this is a fantastic guitar.
You can also look at the other offerings for color on Bad Cat.
Each one of these companies has a bunch of different finishes. Across these three, I like that one the best. That might also have something to do with, I picked out the finish on that one to buy. This one was picked out for me because this was a replacement guitar they sent out. And this one was the only affordable vintage I could find in the period of time, so I bought this one really based on price to do demos for. Not so much for how it works from an aesthetic for my own personal stuff. So anyway, so
I guess it's just things we like about all of them, things we're not so keen on.
If I had to choose one, if you had to choose one.
The winner?
Yep, which one do you choose?
Yeah, come on.
Tim loves this.
I'll give it to the Benton, just because the sound, and the classic look.
I think the Benton is just right. Yeah. Like for all of the balance, the choices they made for me. I think if I bought a guitar and I wanted to mod it and play out and do a lot of cool stuff with it, or if I just wanted to rock harder, the Bad Cat's a good option there. The vintage is solid. Like if you want a guitar that just feels like it's never going to go anywhere, it's super thick finish, meaning positive and negative, but it plays well. It's built from really good stuff. It's got great bones. It's probably a set of pickups away from being amazing. Yeah. Also a great deal. You can't go wrong. Price-wise, we'll do that little rundown. This guy's about $265 to your door here in the States. That guy's about $275 to your door here in the States with a $30 from Tolman. But I think it's a little over 200, 215, 220 in the euro range. And these guys are, I want to say $329 or $379 usually. So is the vintage that much better of a guitar? That's a question a lot of people have. How much better is the vintage than the SC550? Slightly better woods, slightly, just a little nudge. Better electronics technically in this, meaning from like the size of the pots and stuff like that. But I think the pickups and the combination of tones sound better for me in the SC550. So that's that.
Yeah, I think I enjoy covered pickups a little more. So
cool. And that particular wine, that particular set, I really like. That's a really good vibe guitar.
You could go on all day about them.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, I've been Nick.
And I'm Tim.
And yeah, folks, we got issues. Take care.
Plenty of them.
Bye-bye.